Good afternoon, everyone. Let me know if you can hear me.
Yes, sir. Good
Afternoon, sir.
afternoon.
Thank you. Let's start our discussion. Last lecture, we looked at applications that are primarily benefited by business intelligence. That basically means they do data analytics, find out the key patterns, and then make use of those patterns, which come out as a result of data mining, and improve upon the business, excessive feedback, and the cycle goes on. For data mining to occur, the data typically comes from data warehouse. In our few lectures ago, we also had a briefly looked at what's the data warehouse. But we'll look at more in detail about data warehouse today. And next two lectures, we'll look at more detail the overall data mining process. And then we look at data visualization process. And then we get into specifics of each data mining technique that would happen. And that basically be module 4. So first, we'll look at what is data warehouse. And I would like to describe what is data warehouse. We have discussed briefly what does it do or what is the purpose of data warehouse. Anyone? We primarily need data warehouse to support some management queries for specific reports, daily usage report, dashboarding, and those reports are not generated directly from your operational database because that will take a amount of time. So basically, take your operational database and other related information and put them into a some sort of integrated database which can be used to generate reports that basically provide input to the management decision making process. For example, if I were to look at, I keep saying, if I were to look at our student record, college activities, for each class we take attendance. So attendance for a day would contain for each class, for each student. Faculty coming in, it also will contain when the exam is conducted, the marks obtained for each question. So all that event would basically be part of your database, which is called operational or transaction database. From whereas perspective, we're not really interested in looking at marks of each student or attendance of each, but in general, we look at what is the percentage of student attending classes. Is it 70%, 80%, 50%? Or if you go to data mining, we like to know the if a student attend theory classes after lunch rather than before lunch, is there a difference? In fact, there was one such study done and figured out in high school, if mathematics is taught before lunch, in the morning time, then the afternoon time, then the students who studied mathematics in the morning time get about 10% extra marks. That's a good data mining finding. But that wasn't the case for language subjects such as English or Hindi or other. So within that information, one can schedule the timetable accordingly to make it more effective. That becomes part of data mining. So primarily, you look, or you want to look at from college perspective, how many students got a job or how many students got a job in manpower companies, which we call tier 3 companies, or what percentage of students got a salary of 10 lakh and above. So all those becomes the data mining. Or we want to look at overall for the entire semester, what the average number of classes a student attends, or something of that kind. To do those kind of report generation, we need to keep the data at the right level of granularity. It could be daily basis, weekly basis, monthly basis, or even semester-wise basis. And once the data is available, the job data warehouse is to provide report in a standardized format so that there is no ambiguity and decisions could easily be taken and acted upon what needs to be done. For the information to be useful, the data warehouse require constant update. If we're looking at attendance, like VTU wants us to update on weekly basis, that means my data warehouse should be updated almost immediately when the week is over. Because if it is not, reports may be outdated, stale, and would not serve the right purpose. Quite often, data warehouse would be derived from data from other fields in operational database. For example, if we're doing granularity, so we might maintain data at the weekly level, daily level, or the monthly level. So there may be a code, one for weekly, two for monthly, three for quarterly, and so on. So how to interpret those value 1, 2, and 3? That is called metadata. And that metadata clearly has to be documented, managed, so that we can provide clear, unambiguous reports for management decision making. The data warehouse has to be separate from your transaction database, because if it's part of same database, then both would suffer from excesses. If you don't have a data warehouse, separate database, and we try to generate reports from operational database, a typical query would require joining multiple tables, and since operational database is very large, performance would suffer for operational database as well as even query reporting for management would be have a poor performance. So it's desired that the data warehouse should be separate from a regular operational database. So most of the business systems we look at, whenever they generate MIS report or business reports, you maintain two separate databases. One is the database for operational transaction purposes, and one is for MIS or business report purposes. And one has to realize that when you generate such a data warehouse, it's not simply joining few tables. It's the question of aggregating it, cleaning, processing data, then adding to data warehouse. Operational database may have missing data, may have duplicate data, may even have outliers, but data warehouse should make sure that there is no such thing there. And so to process, keep, and get a meaningful report, it may require significant time and effort, and is not simply an overnight job. Having our data warehouse, what is the main benefit it gives you? Key benefit is it aids in giving a business report, a right kind of business report that management or the different owners of functions would need. It enables even individual departments or the individual business unit functions to know how well they are doing. For example, if I were to look at, let's say, our college record database, our finance department would be interested in how much the fees being collected or what is being paid out. Our academic departments, from accreditation perspective, they would be interested in how many people have got the rank in the university, what has been the placement, what kind of papers have been published, has the student done any research activity. For management perspective, how the students are doing, are they getting placed, how's the registration, enrollment, and those kind of information. So different unit and functions would require different kind of reports. Now those could be part of a single data warehouse, as you see later, could be part of separate data merge, small business units, but at the end, it has to provide basically business reports for different business functions to make use of. Now, the main benefit data gives you is You have taken data from operational database, consolidated it, and it basically gives you consolidated, comprehensive view for corporate decision making. And because you have a database reports at one place, your stakeholders, whether if you're dealing with e-commerce activities or maintaining different customers or supporting decisions, customer service makes sure that customers do get their, or you can even retain the customer. If you know how customers are behaving, what the service levels are, as you see it, for telecom and for others, churning is a major challenge all these telecom company faces. So can they do that to retain the customer rather than losing the customer? Other thing is we have separate data warehouse, which is different from your operational database. That means load on your IT work or the typical daily day-to-day business activity for transactions and working. There's been two different data repository. One will not impact the other, and that's IT business can do as it is, and data warehousing will get a much better, faster reports. Knowing the benefits, when we want to design our data warehouse, what is that we should keep in mind for designing such a data warehouse? First and foremost criteria is it should be subject oriented. We are trying to generate report for specific kind of problems. For example, if you are looking at attendance, cumulative attendance, then with some data might should be maintaining for each day aggregated rather than looking attendance in a particular class. We'd like to know what is the percentage of class for each department or percentage of attendance for the overall as the college. And then if it is below the expected results, then one could be able to drill down and see what could be happening. To generate such reports, data has to be fetched, retrieved, or added from many different sources and need not be only from one single source. It could be for the typical in-house applications, ERP applications. It gives from external sources, list of holidays, whatever, and that gives you comprehensive kind of report. The data that goes into a data warehouse should be time variant, basically meaning that if you are doing, let's say, daily attendance, that means at the end of the day, the attendance reports details should be first updated into data warehouse. So at our chosen interval, which could be daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, semester wise, or whatever interval you like to choose, the data should be added into data warehouse so that report could be generated at the right time, giving the full information. In operational database, data could be growing at a high speed. So typically in any operational database, always data purging is done for efficiency reasons. So in an operational transaction database, for the live database, one typically keeps about 1 year data, 2 year data, or 6 months data. You do not keep in live data for all the data since beginning. Other data is archived and then purged. But in data warehouse, we're trying to look at trend analysis, how things are performing over a period of time. And that means data warehouse basically would grow. Now data warehouse, there is no update. It's only probably append and add on. This should work fine. And to trend analysis, we need to keep all the data rather than purging. So in data warehouse, no purging happens, but it could happen on your operational database. Other key consideration for data warehouse is it should be non-volatile. What is the meaning of non-volatile and persistent? Anyone? Assis? What is the meaning? Yeah.
No, sir, I was asking you to repeat the question. My net connection is bad.
What's the meaning of non-volatile?
Non-volatile is something which is strong. Volatile would be weak or breaking.
So, can you give us an example? Amrita? Meghna?
So, the example of non-volatile data, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
I guess data on corrupted drives, that would be non-volatile data. Oh, no, no, that's
Corrupted is different part. So yes, related to, but what is me? So let me say RAM and we say NVRAM. What is the difference? Divya? RAM is volatile, but NVRAM is non-volatile. What does that mean?
Once we shut down the computer, the memory will be gone.
Okay.
And for this, once we shut
Memory
down
would
the
not be
computer,
gone.
the storage will
Data
be.
and memory would be gone. You have to be a little precise.
The data would be gone in case of
Yeah, memory would not be gone. Memory would be there, but data and the memory would be gone, basically. It would not be accessible. Or it would not be there. It would be lost. Yes. So what about non-volatile memory?
It will not be lost.
Data will be saved.
It will not be lost.
Data would not be lost, it will be present, and that's the meaning of so it's persistent. Even there's power or no power, it's persistent. So we look at all the config information, we look at the devices, your routers, switches, anything, they all come with NVRAM so that whatever configuration data is, that remains on the system. Only the current traffic, they probably keep in memory, but all the configuration part remains in NVRAM. When we're saying the data warehouse should be non-volatile, that basically means that data should remain persistent, should be available, and we shouldn't be generating data on the fly. On the fly meaning when somebody wants a report, then we generate the data and then discard it. If we discard it, the data is not there. Next time to generate the report again, to get the data on the fly, that will take a lot of time. So in data warehouse, data should be maintained and should always be available consistently for analysis anytime over a longer period of time. Having looked at that, so continuing that we need to be data should be focused around a particular subject, that means particular problem we're trying to address, a particular query we're trying to generate around those. So how the data will basically be organized in our data warehouse? One is it has to be summarized, because that's the key function. We are not looking at every transaction in data. We're trying to look at data summarization over the right level of granularity. As we said, if you're looking at the item, we could probably say type of item. So rather than keeping data for individual milk brand, we can see overall what the milk category, or we can look at the overall dairy products, or we want to look at daily sales, weekly sales. So what level of granularity you want to look at, or region-wise, north region, central, south, west, depending on what the query people are interested in. Based on that, one would like to look at that granularity. Or from college perspective, we can look at the students coming within 5 kilometers, coming within 5 to 10 kilometers, students within 10 kilometers, and then look at how the attendance pattern would be. And that would be something that becomes to lead to data mining. Because we're using the data, so a number of dimensions, the number of variables we keep in data warehouse would be significantly less than our data in the operational database. Further, to make an efficient report generation, data stored in data warehouse is not normalized. What is a normalized database? You probably study in database. What does normalized database mean? You study 2NF or 3NF. Meghna ji. Divya. Dikshita. Lakshmi. Lakshmi Prasanna.
Yes, sir.
What is a normalized database? What does it imply? We normally say data should be kept in 3NF form.
Sir, it's removing the redundant data.
Yeah, can you give an example?
Sir, if the same similar data is repeated in the database, then we have to
You're
or
still generic. So can you give me an example?
uh,
For example, if we have two rows, with the name we have a phone number, and with the same name we have the address. So we can just merge these cells. With single name, both the data should come. Like in separate, instead of separate columns, we can make it in a single column.
Then if you want to process, then you won't get the details. That is not normalized. Anybody else?
Separate records is normalized.
Can you give an example, Anup?
As she said, if a same person is having multiple records, he can have multiple rows.
Can you give a more concrete example?
So we can think of a website having two types of logins. Let's say a login with Google, and another would be login with Facebook or something. So since a user, let's say, suppose he uses the login with Google method, then a record will be created. And if the same user, the next time if he or she uses the login with Facebook button, we can get the email ID, and if that email ID is the same in both the accounts, we can merge, we can connect that to this account.
So what does the structure look like? I'm just trying to understand. And probably no, you understand, but you're not able to express. So what is the meaning of removing redundant data, duplicate data? So in your case, it would be, let's say I want to keep a login record. And we know that, so if I log in with Google, take your example, I'll have a record ID, or then I have a authentication method Google, and then keep a email, which could be whatever, and the name. And another, I'm looking at the Facebook, I'm maintaining that. So rather than keeping this email duplicate, I can keep an index, an email, and just keep that index, because the email is updated, I don't have to store the long name. Or I can look at the table where, going to previous example, in one table I keep name and the phone numbers, and another table I'll keep name and the address. Now name is getting duplicated in both the tables, and name could be variable field, and that would take a lot more space, and update would be trouble. So rather than doing that, we can create a separate table which only contains name and the index, and both these tables, rather than keeping the name, we can keep the index. So you're basically removing duplicate record, duplicate information across the tables, and not in the same table probably. And that is what you'll probably get into the normal form. And that is the normal. You keep database, because if you keep duplicate data, space the size becomes too big. However, in data warehouse, it is not normalized. Reason being primarily this. If it is normalized, when I want to get information, I have to join multiple tables, and joining would basically take my huge amount of time processing, because the number of records are way too high. So you'd like to keep redundant information for easy and quick report generation. And that is what one is to look at. But to look at, you don't unnecessarily denormalize or keep too many duplicate data which is not being used. So keep a data warehouse denormalized or not normalized. Keep only that much duplicate data which is meaningful for reports, but not otherwise. In operational database, we don't keep, we keep normalized, because anytime you do an update, let's say name or email changes, you have to update everywhere. An update could be significant time consuming, and could be even be inconsistent. When you keep normalized database, update becomes much easier. Now in data warehouse, we are not doing any update. We are probably doing an append. I'm looking at report generation. So for report quick generation, faster report generation, query processing, a data warehouse is not normalized, it typically follows 2NF rather than 3NF. We'll look at how the tables are organized. It typically follows a star schema. At times, it can go also to Snowflake that we'll discuss in a short while. Further, it also keeps sometimes what is called metadata, because many variables are computed from, so a variable could be computed from many fields in the operational database. So one should clearly say what is this metadata would mean. So if I'm doing summarization, whether daily, weekly, monthly, one could be daily, two could be weekly, three could be monthly, then I should know what one means, what two means, or what three means. So keep those indexes, keep those values, and then understand the interpretation so that you do correct interpretation. Data should be updated almost near real time, because if I'm looking at daily attendance summary, then I expect that at the end of the day, by the time college closes, my data warehouse should be updated so that at the end of the day, management can look at our next daily morning how the attendance has been doing or how my sales has been doing. So at the end of the day, we like to say how the sales has been for today, rather than doing this, generating a daily report at the end of the month, which may be too late. So one has to look at all those considerations while designing the data warehouse. Now, having looked at the design considerations, how should we update the database? Or how should we develop the database? There are primarily two approaches taken. So even while designing database, one has to keep in mind that if we are doing a real-time update, it may not be feasible, it may involve good amount of resources, especially in those cases where the operational database is very high volume, such as my airline data, my e-commerce data. If I'm trying to update on hourly basis, then it might cause my computation load high and may impact the performance. So one has to do a fine balance between at what level granularity and what time you want to update. And that's the reason say not real time, say almost near real time, so that it meets the requirements when you want to get a report. So there are two approaches to develop or design the data warehouse. One is called enterprise data warehouse scheme, and other is called data mart approach. So one is that each organization has different business units. So if I look at, let's say, from college, it could be finance department, it could be my different academics, different departments. From the academic perspective, it could be management MIS report, it could be placement, it could be parent access, looking at how the work has been doing. So you take the comprehensive requirement for each business unit or each business function and then design the data warehouse. So that will require a good amount of thought process planning and may take a while before data warehouse could come up. Other is do data warehousing for each business functional unit. So from the transaction data, finance department generates and keeps its own data warehouse. Each department then generates and keeps its own data warehouse, and that way they work. And that is called bottom-up approach, because starting from individual requirements, but eventually all they align together and works to a enterprise-wide data warehouse. The benefit of data mart approach is one can start very quickly, and since it is being maintained locally by business unit, it becomes easy to maintain and could run things very quickly. We look at the design, we look at the approaches. Now, what are my components of data warehouse, or what we call the data warehouse architecture? It basically consists of four components. First is the input data source. Where is that I am getting my raw data from? It could be my own in-house applications, which basically does operation transactions, which come from ERP systems or my legacy applications and whatever it is. Like point of sale where sales happen, or RFID tag that indicates my inventory movement, and so on and so forth. It could also come from external source, department, my suppliers, my vendors, or my other places as well. Having got my raw data, next stage would be what is called data transformation. Now, when I get the data from the sources, not every data may be in proper form. For example, there could be data entry errors. Like if I'm taking an attendance, and for a 2-hour class, if I say attendance 5, that basically means there's an outlier, is the wrong data. Or for some students, we leave the field blank, then you don't know whether the student was absent or present. Or sometimes you have multiple records for the same activity. So all this needs to be processed and removed and make sure that data becomes consistently available. So all this activity of removing duplicates, processing the missing field, processing the outliers, or making sure that data is consistent, or somebody put date and time in the midnight, that means something is wrong. So basically means select the data, extract the meaningful information from the data, and then if you need to do any cleaning, duplicate records, outliers, remove, and then do the required computation, and then you're ready for loading data into the data warehouse. So first step, obtain the data. Second is called data transformation. Third is basically loading into the data warehouse, which basically means generating my denormalized or a rectangular representation of data in a more of like a single table, so that reports could be generated easily and analysis reports or information could be presented whenever user wanted quickly without taking too much of time. Now this could be, as we said, if we're taking a data mart approach, it could be one for each department. Or if we are taking enterprise data warehouse, that means we take the requirement for all the business units and design data warehouse for all. So later would take a little longer time to design and update, whereas data mart would be quicker to implement. And once your data mart data warehouse ready, the last stage is report generation and usage. So basically you have your OLAP tools or OLAP applications. OLAP is online analytical processing tools to generate the reports. You might even a dashboard, and we have seen dashboard, they should be customizable for the each user. It basically consists of different widgets, indicating charts, different graphs, different kind of information towards a comprehensive view. And depending on the user, like sales that would like to look at only sales information rather than the inventory, the product manager or but purchase manager would like to look at inventory part of it, where things are. So each may have a different warehouse. The CEO may look at profitability and the overall sales and how things are moving, trends. So depending on the business functions, but dashboard could be different. They should be customizable for a given user. And for the trend analysis, when you need to do data mining, it is the one that gives me information for my data mining activities to trend analysis, and so that we can take a decision and using that input, reorganize or improve upon the business making, which could be a strategical decision for a long-term direction or operational decision for a quick recovery. So how does my, basically when I put my data warehouse, we look at the 4 components, how this should be organized. Should we use a regular or standard database mechanism, or should we use a different database management system? So for data warehousing, there were different products and not Oracle DB or MySQL or Postgres, because these are primarily for operational transaction database. There's specific different products that one can use. And if it's a distributed system, we like to do parallel processing for a faster response. And if I need to migrate data from one data warehouse to another, maybe I have data mart for different business function unit, but I want to put a comprehensive, then how do I migrate the data? I need to look at those to understand all the requirements. So from data warehouse perspective, I just said looking from the architecture, first we have a data source. We'll look at data could come packaged application or legacy existing systems or other internal source or other external sources. And then it goes through a process of data transformation, which is extract the data, transforming data cleansing, removing duplicates, filling the missing values, normalizing the outliers, or you normalize the dimensions. Like, for example, if I'm doing comprehensive review of my sales, some regions may be reporting MNC company, some country it would be in dollars, some would be in rupees, some would be in euros. So I simply cannot compare number of rupee versus number of in dollars. So that has to normalize for data warehouse. I'll probably put information for a single currency after conversion. That also becomes part of my transformation. And then I load data into data warehouse and then use that. So this basically indicates my, so for data architecture perspective, 4 components with, and then this how they are connected. As we looked at development approaches, we said 2 approaches, data mart and enterprise data warehouse. We can compare them on a different aspect. So one could be the scope. Data mart serves one business unit or one functional unit, whereas EDW serves for the entire organization needs. From management perspective, because each business unit manages its own data mart, so decentralized, where EDW is centralized because serve for the entire organization. Then the time it takes, or the complexity of database, or the cost it takes. So time, cost, and size, they are low from the data mart perspective, but they become medium or high for enterprise who is trying to cater to the entire organization. Data mart is bottom-up approach because you're starting for each functional unit, whereas data warehouse is top-down because you first gather all the requirements for all business unit and then design and do things up. With data mart, for individual business unit, define the requirements, start building it up, and then we can join them together to build the data warehouse. So one is bottom-up approach, other is the top-down approach. Because data mart size is small, so basically it will be lower complexity, whereas few tables, where enterprise data warehouse could be much larger database, and it will have high complexity because there will be a lot more fields, a lot more data may be required. And because of the size, data mart could be run on small server, distributed servers, whereas enterprise data warehouse, we need industry strength or large clusters or high performance servers, and that's where things would be running. Now, how does my data schema should look like, or the schema should be designed? We said typically data warehouse follows star schema. Star schema basically means we have one central table and then few tables around it. That would the star look like. One center place and things come out of that. The central table is called a fact table, which basically keeps most information of the interest. For efficiency reasons, this fact table basically will keep numeric weights for all different fields. And we'll see an example of this star schema very shortly. And the lookup tables will provide details, values of the individual numeric codes. Like for example, if you are looking at sales information, so we can keep numeric weights for salesperson, numeric code for regions, numeric code for items, but that interpretation of that code 1 means north region, code 2 means south region, 3 means western region, or again different items. So interpretation of those codes is basically kept in called lookup tables, and that becomes my star schema. Sometimes my even lookup tables need extra information, so I need extra lookup tables even for the lookup tables. That becomes the snowflake. So example wise, look at a central table. It's orders data, item ID, salesperson ID, region ID, period ID. All these are numeric codes. So for each ID, want to indicate what this means. What is item ID 1 means, ID 2 means. So that maintains in a separate table called ID and name. Same is true for region ID. Region 1, which region corresponds to, region 2, which corresponds to. Same is true for salesperson ID. ID 1 which salesperson and so. And same is true for period granularity, whether 1 means weekly, 2 means monthly, and so on and so forth. At times, even the lookup tables have their codes which needs further interpretation. So lookup tables are surrounded by other lookup tables. That becomes a snowflake architecture, like snowflakes spread all around. And that's the way it basically looks at. Having designed and implemented data warehouse, who's going to access it and for what purposes? It's basically access for different purposes. As you said, different business units, they want different kind of reports. They may access from many different devices. So some people will look at big management console. For some people, they want to get reports quickly on their iPads or small devices. So it should provide report based on the user type, based on the device, and how things will access. As you said, primary use of data warehouse is generate business reports for routine management purposes like daily sales, daily attendance, something of that kind. And for those, we basically use OLAP tools, dashboarding systems. At times, we may even want to run ad hoc queries quickly for a specific case. Those may be slower, but routine reports would be much faster. As you said, in any business, you keep separately for efficiency reasons, operational database in one database, and data warehouse you keep separately. Some people call it summary table, some people call it operation table, and which are typically read only. For is there no update there? So reports are generated from separate database, whereas day-to-day transactions that enters in the transaction database. That typically happens. When you start developing any applications, it typically starts with transaction database, and then when report requirement becomes heavy, you start moving data into the different data store, which is called data warehouse. The other primary purpose of data warehouse is to do data mining. Now, from that purpose, when you look at my operational database, because data grows very high speed, so normally we keep data in data operational database for a certain period, for maybe last 6 months or last 1 year or something of that kind. Because you keep keeping all the historical data, and the new transaction, any new insert update would become very, very slow. So in the operational database, you typically purge it. So if you keep the data for last 1 year and data to prior period, you basically take a backup and store in the archival. If you need it, you load it and use it. But typically, you keep the current data for last 1 year, something of that kind. Whereas in data warehouse, because you like to do data mining, you want to look at the entire trend, how my registration is happening over the last 10 years, how the mark percentage has been happening, how my placement has been happening over the last 10 years. So data warehouse, you do not purge the data, you maintain. And this is mostly, we do basically no update, we just do read. And in that sense, it can view much faster report. And that's the way you to look at design. The data warehouse access has to happen. So don't purge, whereas operational database could basically be purged. To provide the best reporting access, if you're a data warehouse in charge manager, what kind of best practices you would like to follow? So first thing is, you should know what the business user wants. The business user could be a finance department, could be a management department, could be your other different functional units. So that means you have to look at the requirements, and then the way you design the database, your cost of implementation and resource requirement should be financially viable. If I were to say that I maintain the every transaction record for college, and say for implementing data warehouse is going to cost me 1 crore rupees, probably management say get lost. So any data warehouse design should be financially viable so that it can be implemented and supported to meet the requirement. It makes sure that whatever expectation the users are, from data warehouse we're designing so that you can quick reports. Any report that takes you more than 10 seconds, people perceive to be too slow and is not going to work out. So make sure that you maintain data properly, and you should know how that people are going to use it. So if I'm keeping data mart, the finance guy will only get reports on finance. The department would get related to individual subject marks or individual research or projects and meet the respected expectations of a user. Since data warehouse is built from your operational database and other, data has to be updated, added incrementally to keep giving you reports. You cannot take the whole database one at a time. So let me rebuild data warehouse every day. Rebuilding will take significant amount of time. You don't do that. So basically look at what has been added over a period of time. So every day you can take the data for the yesterday, update into data warehouse at the right summary level, and that's the way data warehouse would work. Since we're looking at business reports for effective decision making, in charge of data warehouse to make sure that there is no erroneous data. All the data have been cleansed, transformed properly. You don't add the missing data, you don't do the duplicate data, or you basically remove your outliers, or when you add the data, add granularity, make sure it's interpreted correctly. So otherwise, if you basically know the principle of garbage in, garbage out, same thing will happen. So make sure that data that's get added to data warehouse with the right quality and it has been transformed properly. That means select the data, do the extraction, do the transformation, cleaning, and only then one should load the data into the data warehouse. The data is accessed in real-time basis. So if we're looking at real-time report, for example, if I'm looking at airline business or I'm looking at the sales on a peak season, then I will look at how my sales are doing on almost last half an hour, 1 hour. Because something is wrong, can I correct it quickly? Or inventory management, are the stock being there? Are we running out of stocks? So depending on the business, depending on the requirements, at times the data warehouse may need to meet the needs in real time. And then you have to look at if we're meeting real-time needs, should we implement push or should we implement pull? Push meaning your legacy application will send the data to data warehouse, gets updated. Pull meaning data warehouse applications will communicate and fetch the data from your ERP systems or legacy databases. But one should be aware of that if you're trying to do update in real-time basis, not everything can happen in almost immediately. Because we cannot keep updating continuously, that will cause too much of a load and reporting would suffer. And if I'm doing real-time analysis, what report I generated now for last 1 hour and what report I generated after 5 minutes for last 1 hour, there could be differences because things might have changed in the last 5 minutes. So one should be realistic saying that if I'm looking at real-time data, reports content might change, especially for the last duration or last report we are trying to look at. And one has to make sure that if we are doing a real-time update, because there may be huge amount of data while we're generating basic reports, it shouldn't become too costly affair that it takes a lot of time and we can't even meet our basic requirement. So this is all about data warehouse. Even though we have a details, but authors of the book has also in his slides has given a link. It's a YouTube video, about 8-minute video. So I recommend all of you to go through the video that basically gives you a comprehensive view of what a real data warehouse looks like, what is the requirement, what it means. It's a nice video for 8 minutes. I recommend each one to watch you, and that will help you understand how the data warehouse basically works. So just to summarize, we basically look at what a data warehouse is. It's designed to meet specific business queries, or what you call a specific subject. The main purpose is to provide routine reports and management analysis so that management can make right decision making. It makes sure that reporting is efficient and generates on need basis and should be with the right performance, so don't take too much of a time. We look at the data architecture. That data comes from the data sources, could be ERP systems, could be your legacy systems, other sources. Then it goes to the data transformation process, which means processing it, extracting it, cleaning it, removing duplicates, filling the missing values, looking at the outliers, and then even denormalizing it to store in database or data warehouse. And once your data is available, you put into the data warehouse and then generate the reports. And finally, we would like to have this data for data mining purposes, and data in data warehouse is maintained forever rather than the operational transaction database where we at times purge the data because operational database become too huge size, then any work on the database application could slow down. So in operational database, we could do purging, archiving it, but in data warehouse, because you like to do data for data mining, trend analysis, data remains for entirety, and it's summarized data at the right granularity, so there's no such requirement of purging, and that the way data warehouse works. So that is the end of today. I'll basically let me look at the attendance, where you things are, and then we go from there. Afreen,
Yes, sir.
Abhishek,
Present, sir.
Akshata,
Present, sir.
Akshita,
Present, sir.
Amog, Amogha,
Present, sir.
Amrita,
Present, sir.
Anup,
Yes, sir.
Anusa,
Present, sir.
Anusri, Asis,
Present, sir.
Lakshmi Prasanna,
Yes, sir.
Bhavesh,
Present, sir.
Chaitra,
Present, sir.
Chandana, Chinna Keswa,
Present, sir.
Darshan, Dikshita, Deepika,
Present, sir.
Divya, Ganesh,
Present, sir.
Ganesh,
Present, sir.
Gautam, at
Present, sir.
Priyanka,
Present, sir.
Priyanka,
Present, sir.
Anumesh, Harshita, Indrasena,
Present, sir.
Karan, Karthik,
Present, sir.
Kavita TC, Kavita S,
Present, sir.
Kirti,
Present, sir.
Kritika,
Present, sir.
Lavanya,
Yes, sir.
Lokesh, Manjunath, Meghna, Meghna
Present,
G,
sir.
Present, sir.
Meghna GR,
Present, sir.
Monica,
Present, sir.
Neha,
Present, sir.
Nikhil S,
Present, sir.
Nikita,
Present, sir.
Nishchita, Nitish,
Yes, sir.
Nidal,
Present, sir.
Kishore, Sri Raksha,
Present, sir.
Kritika BM, Meghna HS, Lakshmi KV,
Present, sir.
Sasank,
Yes,
thank you.
Present. Sir, Divya present, sir.
Why not responding? I ask you in the class, you don't answer. Attendance time, you don't answer.
I responded, so I guess you didn't hear me.
Even when I ask you two the time during question making, you never answered. Attendance time, you don't answer.
So
You have to be careful. Don't just simply mark attendance and go away. Thank you.